Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. Are you in removal proceedings? And are you wondering if you should get an attorney or not? I always find this question interesting because, to me, to try to go through a removal proceeding and represent yourself, I'm being honest here, is kind of like, breaking your arm and trying to set it and fix it and x-ray it yourself. Just because, the lawyers use words and there's no medical items involved does not mean, of course, that it's not complicated. That's what lawyers do. There's a reason that lawyers go through 7 years of education, which is a bachelor's degree, and then the law degree, and then they have to pass the bar. And then if they become a certified specialist in immigration law, that's another 5 years, give or take. And then there's continuing education after. And then there's always learning. There's always analysis and so forth. So it takes many, many years to get to the point where a good immigration attorney can represent someone in removal proceedings and do everything necessary to help that person. So to me, I just don't understand when somebody who, number one, is the immigrant themselves, but has no legal education, no law degree, didn't pass the bar, no legal experience, no deportation experience, no trial experience, thinks that they can represent themselves. It's doing a disservice to you, to the person who wants to try to win, and it does a disservice to your family, because the reality is it would be exceedingly rare for somebody who is in removal proceedings to win without the help of an attorney. I'm not saying it's not possible. I mean, it is possible. But if you want a real chance of staying here, then you need to get someone experienced to represent you. The immigration judge certainly is not your friend. The trial attorney from the other side, they are absolutely not your friend. Let's just talk about the trial attorney. Every time they walk in the door, they are bringing a carrier with a ton of cases, of which they probably spent a minute and a half reviewing each case, if that, before they walked in the door. They don't care about you. They don't care about your case. And as far as they're concerned, if they could get you out of there through some kind of deportation order so they don't have to fight it, they would do that in a second. No skin off their back. The immigration judge, likewise, has calendars until the end of time. There is no shortage of people entering removal proceedings and whom the government is trying to deport. I mean, everybody watching may go, well, I know 12 people who are not in removal proceedings and they're not here. Well, for every one person you know not in removal proceedings, there's somebody in removal proceedings. And even if there's 10 people, even if there's 20 people that are not in removal proceedings, and there's one person for every 20 people not in removal proceedings, the calendar will still be backlogged for years. That's the reality. So the first thing you have to get out of your mind, if you're trying to represent yourself, is the judge is going to help you or the trial attorney is going to help you. It's not their job, and they have no desire to. And that's the reason you can get an attorney to represent you. Because once you have the attorney that would represent you in removal proceedings, that is when that attorney can review the record, can review the file, can review your case, can analyze what needs to be done, can see if there's relief available now, or if possible there is relief that may be available in the future, can see if criminal relief needs to be done and various motions need to be made in immigration court, can see if it needs to go up on appeal, can make the record on appeal. There's just so many things that can be done to represent you. There's cases I've had in the past that are clear loser cases. I mean, clearly losing cases. But it is possible to represent the person to the best of my ability, to try to go up on appeal. And these things take years. And sometimes, by the time it gets to the end, new laws have passed that make this person qualify for something else, or a visa number has become current that wasn't current years before. There's all kinds of ways and all kinds of things to apply for. I mean, imagine a puzzle that is multidimensional and that has 1,000 pieces on each dimension. If you take one piece out of one dimension, that may affect all the other dimensions, or it may not. It may affect different things. So you need to be able to see the whole picture in order to try to help yourself. So if you want to represent yourself, for example, in a civil trial where someone's suing you for, $500, and the most you're going to lose is $500, that's one thing. But to represent yourself in removal proceedings where we're talking about the direction of your life, because if you get removed, you're going to be forcibly kicked out of the United States, or train or plane or whatever, and you're going to be dumped in your home country, and that's that. You're on your own. And your spouse, your parents, your children, whatever, they may still be in the U.S., and now you have to fight to try to get back, which that's a whole other story. So while it may not be cheap to hire a good immigration attorney to represent you in removal proceedings, if you look at the bigger picture, it's a whole lot less than if you get deported and you end up having to spend years and years outside and spend years trying to get back in and so forth, and try to hire an attorney at that point where you clearly will say to yourself, I wish I hired an attorney before. Okay, that's not to say that an immigration attorney always wins. That by far is not the case. But one can lose a certain thing in immigration court and appeal and still lose and go up and do a petition for review and win. Sometimes you have to fight a few battles to win the war. So it really depends on your case and what can be done to properly help you and your family in order to win, or at least extend where maybe in the future you could win, the immigration removal / deportation.